Hey folks, welcome back to Real Estate Investing Unmasked. Today, I want to share an inspiring story with you. Stay tuned. I want to tell you a story about this house. In the process of working on this house and turning it from what it was to what it is now, there was a long process. Part of that process was this. I came to the house one day and there was a cease and desist sticker in the window because I hadn't finalized my permits, but they found that I was in the process of doing work. As a matter of fact, that's what it looked like with the roof when they told me to stop work. So it rained and damaged my floors. When I was working on my electrical after I got my permit, I think it was just last episode in episode 10, here I had my house was being worked on. I was doing what I could. I turned it in and got an inspection, and the inspector said, nope, here's 21 things you have to do to complete the inspection. I had a ton of material I had to move from inside my house to the outside, a ton of material. And it took a lot of man hours to get this all taken care of, especially when I was trying to do this all with cash, not borrowing anything. It made it very difficult. So during these times, when you have something that's difficult, you have something that's hard, and you have to think long and hard about what you're doing, what do? I went on vacation. I went up into the mountains, to the Fresno Mountains, and I went on a camp with my family. And while I was up at this campsite, I had almost every night we get to sit around the fire. And there are a lot of people, some people that I don't know, some people that I know very well. This night in particular, I had somebody I didn't know. Now this isn't a picture of us, this is just a representation of us sitting around the fire. But while I was sitting around the fire and had the smoke blowing in my face, I hear the crackling of the fire, feel the heat pressing on my face and on my hands and my chest. I also felt the weight of the world on my shoulders as I shared my story about my cease and desist letter and about my inspections that didn't pass. And there was a gentleman sitting across on the other side of the fire. And this man is an older man. He's already retired. He's in his 60s, he's about to turn 70. And his hands are worn and calloused. His knees are worn from kneeling and installing carpet over years and years. But this man was inspiring. And he was inspiring because he was telling me this story about his real estate career. Now, while he was talking, I understood everything he was talking about. He talked about having property that he fixed and flipped. He talked about property that he had gone and rented out and all the problems that came with it. And really, I wasn't paying attention so much because I'd heard all of this before and I had experience with all of this before. But what really caught me was the next thing that he said. When he talked about how he started lending money and he was making 12% interest return on his money. And he talked about how, as a lender, he never had to deal with toilets. He never had to deal with tenants. And he really didn't have to worry about people not paying the mortgage. Because as a lender, he didn't have to worry about what was going on inside the house necessarily. He always lent money in a way that the house, the majority of that there was still plenty of equity on the table. And he was making 12% interest. And what he said, it blew my mind. It wasn't about what he said in particular that blew my mind. It was just what I had heard that blew my mind. You see, what happens sometimes, it's not about what is said to you. Sometimes it's about what you heard that causes you to have an epiphany. There are many times in life where people have talked to me and I am completely closing them out. And later on, I find out they were totally right. There's somebody that I should have listened to. And I think that happens a lot, even in real estate investing, where somebody is sharing something that is intimate or personal to them, and we feel like we know more than they do. Where if we would just listen, sometimes we would hear things, not necessarily what they say, but what we just hear, the message that we hear from them. And this day, this time around the campfire, now that house is long and gone, there was something that I gained that day that I've put into practice. I have started lending money. And I can tell you that has changed my world. And all it took was a man who was willing to share his experiences, and a young man, as myself, willing to listen to them. Being open enough to listen to somebody tell their story, even if I thought I knew everything he was talking about, to change my perception. So I wanted to share this with you today to have you open your mind. That even when somebody's talking about something that you are very familiar with, broaden your horizon. Listen for that part of the story that perhaps you've never thought of before, and it may be that you discover something new. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. If you liked it, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, hit it twice, and I'll see you next time.